All right. Wow, you guys look beautiful. A lot of birthday people. I once had this New Age woman tell me the only way I was going to get spiritual contentment and lifelong emotional happiness was I had to move far, far away from my family. Basically, I had to sever ties with my family. And I remember what I said to this woman. I said, "Mom, I'm only 9 years old." I got 3 kids. Thank you. No applause. One guy says, "Wow." I got a kid in college now, and I looked at the because college just started, and I looked at the some of the classes. You know, he's taking kayaking, skydiving, and he's going to spend a semester in Turkey and Vietnam. And I'm paying like 45 grand a year for this thing. We had a similar program when I was his age. You know, you could do all the hiking you wanted. You could jump out of planes. You could go to exotic places. It was called the U.S. Marines. Yeah, people were shooting at you, but they're shooting you at schools too now, so. Oh, too soon, right? Like, if I'm going to wait for that joke to be appropriate, I'm never going to tell that joke. Yeah, actually, my son came home for college, had a big, he was having a big party in the backyard. And I remember this day because our next door neighbor filed to, this is a true story, filed to have a rehab house next door. That's like a real problem in Orange County. And some idiot neighbor put out an email, like informing all the neighborhood that, you know, but they put my address down mistakenly. So I had like neighbors driving by, flipping me off, you know, because from the front of the house, it looked like a rehab house. There's like 20 cars parked out front. The back of the house was a different story, though. It was like flippy cup, rage cage, beer pong. It was anything but a rehab. It's the house you go to before you go to rehab. It was a prehab house, basically. Yeah, I live in a prehab house. But I got a middle child. Anybody here middle children? Your guys' brains don't work normal. I saw this at an early age. Like, he was riding in a car with a buddy of his, and this kid was bragging about some rock he brought back from like the Sea of Galilee. And my son was like, and the kid was like, "What if Jesus had walked on this rock?" And my son was like, "That wouldn't really interest me, but if Jesus had peed on that rock, that's my boy." He didn't get his driver's license till he was like 18. He's like a really cautious kid. He's never been in an accident, but a lot of cars behind him have. He told me he wanted to go to Bible college, and I'm like, sweet, you know, because that's going to save me so much money in books. You only got to buy one, right? No. It's not the case. He had a friend. I mean, you can't pick your kids' friends. And this one kid, I love him dearly, Trevor. You know, he was just a little bit different. Like, not good, different, bad. He was just different. Like the acronym LGBTQ. I knew he was going to be one of those capital letters. I just didn't know which one. And then I overheard him say that he had a crush on his teacher. And I'm like, all right, you know, like he was thinking about what it would be like to make out with his teacher. So that's where Trevor's at. And then I remembered Trevor is homeschooled. There's not a capital letter for that one. I've got a daughter now, and she plays beach volleyball for when she heard I was telling this joke, she goes, "Just don't say I go to Saddleback Community College." So she goes to this nondescript college down the road at the base of Saddleback Mountain. and she plays beach volleyball, and this is a true story. They lost their first match to a team that had a transgender player on the team, and that's a real deal now. And in beach volleyball, it's 2 against 2, so like half your team, that makes a difference. And I tell you what, this girl, she could hit the ball like she'd been trapped in a man's body for 20 years, and was really pissed about it too. My daughter, just after the match, her face was, her sunglasses are all broken, and I think she had a bloody nose. I'm pretty sure I could read the imprint of the ball manufacturer on her forehead. Like you've seen the movie, what's the Tom Hanks movie where he's on an island? Castaway, yeah. Yeah, she looked like, at the end of the movie, Wilson the volleyball. But I figure if you can't beat it, first of all, when I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and my dad's motto was, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. A lot of kids died in Cleveland, by the way. So she was upset after the game. What am I going to say that's not going to sound, like a hate speech? But so I just said, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. But then I started thinking, I got a son who's a pretty good lacrosse player. In women's lacrosse, he'd tear it up. The only problem, he's not gender confused yet. That's my job. That's right. So I start calling him Marcia every chance I get. I'm like, pass the potatoes there, Marcia. And he's like, what? I'm sorry, Mark, pass the potatoes. Thanks, Marcia. He's like, what? You sound confused. Are you confused, Mark? He's going to thank me someday, guys. College is friggin' expensive. I've been married now 30 years. Thank you. Yes, I've got you trained well. It's a long time. My wife looked at me the other day and she said, are you even listening to me? And I thought, that's a weird way to start a conversation. I'm trying to be a better listener, I really am, but I don't know if you guys know the average number of words. I just read this article. The average number of words a woman speaks in a day. Are you guys a couple? No? You guys a couple? 100,000. Wow. Let's pray for this gentleman in the front. 100,000. The answer, sir, is 12,000 words a day. No. Yeah. So, and I got a daughter now, so that's like 24,000 words coming at me a day. This joke was a lot better when someone doesn't yell out 100,000 words. But, and she's got a boyfriend now, and someone said, well, what do you like about the guy? And I started thinking, well, let's see, he sits out in the driveway and vapes for 3 hours. I don't like that, but he's a good listener. So that's like 10,000 less words coming my way. Yeah. I recently had to get this thing, anyone here, you get a certain age, you got to get a living trust and a power of attorney for health care. Basically, the health care thing is like who decides to pull the plug. So the attorney's like, I tell you what, just come back in a week, tell me who you want you to name as your power of attorney for health. Usually it's your spouse, but let me know. So we go home, and the same day, my dog, George, 140-pound golden retriever. Who just got a dog here? Somebody, I heard. 140-pound golden retriever, and threw his back out, chasing a ball. And so she takes him to the vet, and the vet says it's going to be a $4,000 back surgery. So she had him scheduled to be put down the next day. Where she grew up, her motto was, if it makes you weaker, I'm going to kill you. And I'm like, let's see if the old boy can pull through. And sure enough, it's just like you and I, when we throw our back out, it worked itself out. I throw my back out putting on my socks. So I turned 50 and my kids got me a sock slider. You ever seen that? the joke's on them because I actually use that every day. It's as seen on TV. But so I go back to the attorney's office. This is in the back of my mind. And I'm like, who are you going to name? I'm like, I'm going to name my dog George, because I had his back and he's going to have my back. So George is my power of attorney. Unfortunately, George only lasted 6 more years after that, so now I'm back to square one on that. My wife got a weighted blanket. Anyone here get a weighted blanket? You know what? Anybody know what that is? It's a normal blanket. It weighs 30 pounds. It's like, for people that like to be smashed, I guess, when they sleep. She's like, I just feel like a little burrito. I love it. I hate the thing, I can't stand it. And I can't tell when she leaves in the morning. She always leaves before me, but I always check. But now it's like I'm hitting this dental radiation blanket. So I just got to whack the crap out. This is a long way to say that I beat my wife, I think. This is what I'm saying. You're clapping for the wife beating joke part. That was not an applause break. So she back. You guys remember when the Northridge earthquake was? January 17th, 1994. So ever since that day, she wears to bed what she calls her earthquake shorts, which are jean shorts to about here, because she doesn't run outside in her underwear. So let's just back up. So I get the blanket and the jean shorts for 25 years, 8 months, 17 days, 3.5 hours. But I think she felt a little bad, and she says, "Well, what would you like me to wear to bed?" And I thought, wow, just how about a nurse's outfit, right? And she said, I had the exact same fantasy, and I'm like, really? And she said, yeah, I'm wearing a nurse's outfit, and I come in the bedroom, and I'm like, yeah. And then I walk over to the bed, and I'm like, yeah. And then I reach over. And I yanked the plug out of your life support system. Yeah. So I'm thinking I'm going to get another dog. Probably a rescue dog. Anyone get rescued animals? God bless you guys. That's awesome because there's not enough people adopting pets, and it's a shame. And I have a plan to eliminate the having to put down pets, and the pet adoptions are going to go through the roof. So I'm going to present this to Shark Tank. My idea is you get a TV network, kind of like QVC, and you televise pet executions. Oh, hear me out. It's got a little clock. It's going to tick down. I even got a name. It's Pexecution Network, right? And celebrity host is going to be Sarah McLachlan. Be ticking down, and it'll be 30, 25 seconds, Sarah. Come on, somebody, please call in. On the arms of an angel, someone, dear God. I don't think I'll last long as a TV exec. I don't know if you guys saw, there's what's that terrible fire at the Notre Dame Cathedral. Yeah, remember that? And they originally said no one had died from it. Actually, there was one fatality. There was the guy that lived in the bell tower. And he had no arms, so when the fire came, he did all he could do to alert everybody. He grabbed the rope to the bell with his teeth, and he was swinging it back furiously to the point that he fell 80 feet to his death. And nobody knew the poor guy's name. And so a crowd, when they gathered around, the priest came over, and even the priest said, I don't know his name either, but his face sure rings a bell. Thank you. Hey, I told you I'm a dad. That's a dad joke, all right? I got like 2 more weeks I can tell that joke. Thank you. I like the groans. So I like to say that I rescued my wife from Cleveland. She's a rescue also. She was dating this guy. His name was Bruce Cobbledick. True story. Bruce ran for political office. I don't know why he didn't win. And I tell my daughter, you just be nice to me, because her name is Nikki. If it wasn't for me, your name would be Nick Cobbledick. All right, you guys are great.